right. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of Murray Meets. And today, I'm really excited and delighted to introduce you to Mark Mooren, who is the country manager of UK, Ireland, and Netherlands for Aeromexico. Hi, Mark. How are you?
Good morning, Ian. Nice to talk to you. Yeah, it's Mark Mooren.
Yeah, Mark Mooren. Sorry, I do
You,
apologize. Yes, sorry.
no, you did a good try.
I give it a good try, right?
Yes.
Well, let's dive into that because let's talk a little bit about where you're from. You have a good accent there, so I do definitely note the Dutch there. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you based, and where's home normally?
Yeah, indeed. I'm from the Netherlands, born and raised. Actually, I live in the south of the Netherlands, quite close to the border with Belgium. So we always say it's the best part of the Netherlands. So I invite everybody to, if you're not going to Mexico, then please come to this part in the world. It's fantastic. Well, my name is Mark, and I'm the country manager for Aeromexico since 4.5 years. I've been working a lot on the Dutch market mainly over the last, let's say, 3 years, and mainly focusing on the Amsterdam-Mexico route. And since August last year, I'm covering the UK as well. So now I have 2 regions, and I find myself in the middle, in the place where I live, Breda. So like I said, yeah, covering two regions, Benelux on one hand, and UK, Ireland on the other hand. That's just a small introduction about me.
Yeah, that's a good remit. Yeah, so that's right. So we talk about Holland. It's not all about Amsterdam, isn't it? That's the key point here, right? The south is beautiful, right?
That's what I was saying in between the lines, Ian.
Yes, absolutely, yes. Absolutely. Well, listen, it's great. So, Aeromexico. Let's talk a little bit about that. So, well, if we go back a year and a half before we come to today, and then we'll talk a little bit about tomorrow. So, a year and a half ago, we were still living through this pandemic. I mean, we're all relieved and happy to see. We hope. I mean, we don't know, right? We touch wood, but there is definitely another chapter that we're living through right now, which is one of much more positivity. But for the airlines, I mean, we've talked on previous Murray Meets that it's been a real journey and a real challenge for the industry to survive before it can revive, right? And so if we go back with yourselves a year and a half ago, where was Aeromexico? What's that journey been like?
Yeah, well, we can make it a very long story, and we can keep it very short. Maybe something in the middle. But yeah, like for any other airline in the world, it has been, let's say, tough times for us as well. It has been kind of a roller coaster over the past 2 years, and yeah, we had to find ways basically to survive or to secure the future, and that's what we did. Somehow, it has been an opportunity for us as well to reinvent ourselves, to become, let's say, lean and mean, make sure that you have a lower cost structure. Yeah, we have used it. I mean, it has been tough, but we have also used that time to create for ourselves a solid position in a way that we are ready now for the future. So it has been tough, like many other airlines, but we're still here, and there was never a doubt that we would disappear. But we're here, and that's maybe a cliche, but stronger than ever, I think.
Yeah. Well, listen. I mean, I think that has been, if we look at a positive, right, that perhaps for many companies in the industry, there was probably a good thinking process even before the pandemic that we have to keep moving and evolving, right? We have to keep changing because the industry is changing. I mean, I remember back going to the World Travel and Tourism Council and listening to them talk with great positivity. And actually, it was a very hopeful presentation about how important travel was and the industry was and how we were growing. But the need for adapting to that, the need to embrace the technology, to understand how customers are booking, to understand more about what destinations, what onboard products we need to provide. And then there's that continued involvement, the difference between the evolving low-cost models and the schedules models, etc. So what you're saying really is Aeromexico navigated its way through probably a financial look and an operational look to come out with a product and a schedule that meets the needs of today. Is that where you would say that the product, the schedule, the destination focus, and the attention to detail is all in a sort of a new phase for the airline, partly forced by finances, but partly because you have to be ready for the new world that's out there?
Yeah, I think that's right. We always look at what the customer wants, of course, and what's also very important is that we are a global airline, so we always try to keep as much as possible our international network. And also during the pandemic, we always kept it as much as possible. Wherever country restrictions allowed us, we kept flying. It's important for us because we have a very strong domestic network, and that needs to be fed. I mean, that is fed by our international network. What helped us a lot during the whole pandemic was the fact that Mexico always remained open. So there were no entry restrictions, and that was obviously good for us. A different approach, because many other countries did it different. But for us, of course, it was it was a big opportunity, and we saw that during the pandemic. Also, many people decided to go to Mexico, and Mexico and places like Cancun and Puerto Vallarta became perhaps even a more popular destination during the whole pandemic. The fact that Mexico always remained open has helped us a lot. Yes. To survive and to come through this crisis.
Yeah, and if we then swing that to the European market, so it's no doubt been always a very important marketplace for the carrier. I mean, we obviously have a long partnership with you guys, so we've been through the journey with you, and we certainly remember pre-pandemic, and I agree with you on the bookings and the look going forward, that the appetite and enthusiasm for Mexico has not dimmed. I mean, there is a lot of pent-up demand, and if and when it really comes back in its true sense, then the work that you've done during that pandemic, the promotions of the market, the attractiveness to go there, the safety and all that sort of side of it, will make it a very, well, hopefully an easier journey back into business. So how important is the European market to you guys?
The European market has always been very, very, very important for Aeromexico, and has always been doing very well as well. Pre-COVID, even during COVID, and now post-COVID. We always kept flying as much as possible to our European destinations. And of course, during the peak of the pandemic, we reduced frequencies, but we kept flying as much as possible, also because of the fact that Mexico remained open. But very quickly, actually, already we started to increase frequencies again to our destinations in Europe. Now, where are we flying? Where are we operating to? Madrid. That's let's say our most important market in Europe. Now we have multiple flights from Madrid to Mexico City. Then we have Paris with 2 flights per day during the let's say high season. We have Amsterdam with a daily flight, and we have also launched direct flights now from Madrid to Monterrey and Madrid to Guadalajara. So and last but not least, we are resuming operations again from London Heathrow to Mexico City, and that's starting as of next week. And putting that all together, we are basically we have let's say our network to Europe is already bigger than it was pre-COVID. So the demand is there, especially now most of the restrictions in Europe have been lifted. So we have seen a strong increase, let's say, in demand out of Europe to Mexico recently. People are desperate. Not desperate, but they really eager.
They are. Yes.
And the other way around as well. I mean, there's a big demand from the Mexican market to travel into Europe. So it looks very natural and very healthy at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. And for those who don't know the carrier, I mean, what is just explain the product when you're on board, and what is the experience?
Now, yeah, what I wanted to say, and was thinking about it, is of course, yeah, we're Mexico's global airline. So once you enter the plane, you are, let's say, you will enjoy a bit of Mexico. You will experience already a bit of Mexico. At the same time, you will experience international standards, and that's a good start, I think. Yeah. So and talking about our network to Europe and talking about our aircraft, it's all 787. It's all Boeing 787 Dreamliners. So it's a very it's always the same product, and it's a good product. We have an economy class, we have a comfort class, which is called AM Plus within in Aeromexico, and I think a very good business class product, which is needed, of course.
Yeah, fantastic.
Because if you want to, I mean, it's a long flight to Mexico, so it's fantastic experience.
Yeah, fantastic. And so coming back into the year then, so lots of new returns, which is fantastic to hear, by the way. That's so encouraging and exciting. And I think that you're absolutely right that there is a desperation, the pent up demand to go to, new and exciting destinations, maybe even a reboot of, well, I've got to get out there and live my life. So I think there's a real, I feel it and I hear it across all the partners that we work with, that there's a real bullishness to the industry. I think the industry has done amazing to survive to get to this point, like you were saying, and therefore we're going to come back, strong and focused, etc. And so the focus for you guys then this year, get those flights operational, get them filled, with a mix of leisure and business, and then obviously you have the trade is very important to you as well. So is it about going back out to the trade and giving that positivity and educating everybody on the product and the new destinations, etc.?
Yeah, I think you're saying it right. What is now for us very important is to come back to London. I mean, that completes, let's say, our mission in Europe, I would say, for the moment. And London and UK has been very important for us, but for multiple reasons, we were not able to operate during the pandemic to London. All signals have now turned into green.
Right.
And the UK market, has been a very important market for us in the past. I mean, it's big. So the focus is now on London. We will start operations again as of 3rd of April, so as of next week. We start with 5 frequencies per week, and then we build it up quickly already to 7 flights per week, a daily flight. Okay. And that is according to pre-COVID levels. So what can I say? Like the other European flights, we have out of London, we have comfortable night flights. That's I'm talking a little bit about the product and the network and the good things about Aeromexico.
Yes.
Yeah, comfortable night flights. So you depart late in the evening. Let's say 10:30, and then you arrive early morning in Mexico City, and that basically allows you to catch all the connections, domestic, and also to our beyond destinations. Now, our domestic network, we have more than 43 destinations within Mexico itself. Puerto Vallarta, Cancun, Los Cabos, more corporate destinations like Monterrey, Guadalajara. You all get them when you arrive early morning in Mexico.
Wow.
So I think that's very convenient. We always, for the majority, we operate from Terminal 2 in Mexico City.
Yeah.
And that's good. And that's good because that ensures smooth connections. Smooth connections. Plus, another big benefit when flying with Aeromexico is that your baggage is always labeled through your end destination.
Right.
It's maybe a small thing, but in fact, it's a big thing. Yeah,
Yes.
it's very convenient.
Yes.
So I always mention it. I always mention it.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, that is good. And what is also worth mentioning it. Yeah, like I said, London important for us. We also, what is a big difference versus our pre-COVID operation is that we are now operating from Terminal 3 in London Heathrow, where we were operating from Terminal 4 before.
Yeah.
Now, what's, for example, a benefit from operating from Terminal 3 is that you will have much better connectivity to central London.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we have now, our customers have let's say, access to the very fast access to the London Heathrow Express. It takes 15 minutes to travel to the city center of London. So yeah, I think overall we have the best product, to be honest. And now London is sorry to continue. Yeah, I think London is now, let's say, the final step as for our recovery in Europe. But it's not a small last step, it's a big last step. London and UK has been very important for us, and we're very happy to be back. And you were talking about the trade. Trade is, of course, very important for us. And they have always supported us during the whole pandemic, also when we were not flying. Also from our side, we try to keep the connection, but we always stayed in good contact. So we're benefiting from that now, I believe. On the other hand, of course, we try to be as much as possible out there, team up with those partners, and look for opportunities and look on how can we drive business together to Mexico. I mean, in the end, most of our sales is being driven by the indirect channel. So yeah, we always had a good connection with the trade and with the partners. And yeah, we want to much more further build that. It's a key priority.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, amazing. Well said. I mean, look, I think that there's definitely that demand is there. I think that you're absolutely right on the product. Of course, Heathrow, great connections into London, also great connections coming into London, and all the flights coming in. I mean, you're inside the little circle between terminals with 2 and 3. So that's a fantastic upside as well. So looking forward, then, I mean, what do you see in a year's time for the carrier? Where do you see yourselves in 1 year from now?
Yeah, what is our focus now? And I'm talking, of course, about my region. Okay,
yes.
I think we have a very solid position in the Benelux, in the Netherlands for Amsterdam, Mexico, and of course we are now focusing on getting our position back in the UK.
Yes.
In the UK, we're resuming flights, and it may take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I strongly believe that it will go quick, because I believe we have the best product.
Yes.
And that makes things easier.
Yes, I agree.
So we have the best product, we have a great network, we have great planes, we have the best service. So when you step on board, like I said, you will feel and experience a touch of Mexico. Your journey, you are already in Mexico, but at the same time, like I said, you're experiencing international standards, good product, high level. Like I said, we have the best product. So we look at it very positively. Of course, we have in the airline business, there are always threats. So isn't it COVID? Okay, then it's the unstable situation of the war in Ukraine. But what we see now is that there is such a strong demand coming from the European market, and definitely also coming from the UK market. So we believe that for the moment, the market absorbs it. Yeah. Absorbs, and I'm talking about, for example, higher oil prices, higher fuel prices. For the moment, we see such a strong demand, and people choosing Aeromexico because for the mentioned reasons. So I think for the moment, it's being absorbed. And of course we hope to that continues. But we are very confident about that. I mean, we are an airline. Of course, we look at the competition. We want to be competitive, but at the same time, we also want to differentiate on product. So, for example, we have also dedicated products prepared for our customer, for our corporate customers. For it's named corporate priority. Yeah, that this kind of examples, this kind of products will differentiate. With that, we will differentiate ourselves from the competition. I strongly believe in that. Yeah. And Mexico is a fantastic destination. So,
I mean, Mark, I'm there. I mean, I can't wait to go. I think it's so exciting. I mean, I can feel the energy. I can feel the excitement that we can see it in the numbers. We can see it across the confidence of the customer. I think we all agree that if there's one resilient industry, the travel industry is incredibly resilient. But that's because people want to travel. People want to get out there. People want to live their lives and experience this wonderful world that we live in. And Mexico, as a destination, I mean, many of us have been very fortunate to have been there. I've been there myself. I mean, it is a fabulous, warm, friendly, exciting, culturally interesting market. So we all look forward to going back out there. So Mark, listen, thank you so much for talking to us. Thanks so much for sharing your thoughts and plans for the carrier. Any plans for yourself? I mean, you have a favorite destination that you would like to go to this year?
Of course. Every year I go to Mexico with my family during the summer holidays, and we've seen a couple of places already. Yeah. And of course, Cancun, Yucatan is great. Yes. But let me promote another destination this time. No, I last year we went to Los Cabos and La Paz, and that's situated at the peninsula Baja California. So is the Mexican part of California.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a peninsula. And there you will see the best of both worlds. On one hand, you have Los Cabos. Yes. It's very popular among US tourists. Let's say it's a big volumes, typically tourist destination, a little bit high end. You are at the Pacific Ocean, very rough, very wild. And on the other hand, you drive 1.5 hours. You arrive at La Paz. And La Paz is very calm. It's very authentic. It's situated at the Sea of Cortez, which is called the aquarium of the world. So you find all kind of sharks, whales, etc., etc.
Yes.
And the combination of both, that is my recommendation. Do both. Go to Los Cabos, go and combine it with La Paz. The roads are fantastic. The distances are not that long. So yeah, that is my recommendation, because you meet you combine two different destinations.
Yeah. Wow, that's fantastic. Well, listen, Mark, I mean, as I said, I think that anybody listening to this, they're going to be straight onto the Google. You want to say one more thing?
Yeah, of course. When you travel to Mexico, always spend 2 or 3 nights in Mexico City.
Yes.
Mexico City, we forget about that. It's only the fact that it has like 25 million people living there. It makes it such an it will give you such a let's say, it's so impressive. Yes. It's so impressive that you need to stay 2 or 3 days there.
Yes.
Not mentioning forgetting about the cultural things that you can do there. Think about Aztecs. Think about Frida Kahlo.
Yeah.
Lots of museums.
Yes.
Yes.
I've spent time there. I claim to fame is that yes, I've spent. I think I was there for 2 days because there's a lot to do in the city and then outside the city with the cultural side of it as well. But I've also driven. I can claim that I've driven from the center of Mexico City out of the city in a Volkswagen Beetle, actually, many years ago. But it was a challenge that we set ourselves. Well done. And so I can also say that as big and vast as Mexico City is, it's okay. It's a very, on one level, it's quite an easy city. It's very well structured. Getting around is fabulous. And as I said, the food, the people, the fun, fantastic. I mean, wherever you go there, right? Whether you go to the East Coast or the West Coast or in the center or in the South or North, it's all there for everybody, right?
Yeah, and when you go to Mexico City, it feels very good. I mean, very comfortable.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, listen, Mark, I think on that note, everybody will be Googling now their next destination, and no doubt they'll be trying out your product. I'd like to thank you so much for your partnership with us. Obviously, it's very important. And on behalf of the trade, thank you for coming back into the market. It is an important destination for the European market. We really value that. So thank you for coming back into this part of the world. And thank you for your leadership. And we look forward to seeing and hearing more about Aeromexico in the rest of the year and going forward. So thanks very much, Mark, for your time.
Excellent. Thank you very much for having this conversation. Pleasant conversation.
Take care. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.